Do I have free will? And do I have control over my future? In philosophy, there's a subject of debate called the mind-body dilemma. One side states anything we do is easily explained through the biological and environmental factors around us. Another side states we exist in a non-physical reality, surrounded by our thoughts and spiritual energy. There's a third argument in the mind-body dilemma that says the mind and the body could be separate and exist simultaneously. Your body is physical and your mind is non-physical, but they can causally affect each other somehow. Anxiety is a mental disorder characterized by intense nervousness. In support groups to deal with anxiety, they teach you about things called affirmations. It's a way to challenge self-sabotaging behavior and negative trains of thought. This reminds me of learning about manifesting in high school. My acting teacher said manifesting is basically thinking about something a lot in order to will it into existence. This made me think, is it possible that others' manifestations can affect you? Gandhi's paradox asserts that nothing you do as an individual matters, but it's vitally important that you do it anyway. An analogy for this paradox compares social issues to trees, where we, the leaves, need to photosynthesize in order to keep the tree alive. Maybe the more people that want something to happen, the more likely it will come to pass. Maybe as leaves we provide energy, and that energy works in mysterious ways. I remember reading about the butterfly effect a while ago, which says one small change can affect something big through a series of chaotic domino-like events. Maybe that's how manifestations work. If manifestations work in a spiritual way, then where does the energy go, and how could it affect others? Carl Jung, proclaimed psychological idealist, proposed the idea of a collective unconscious, or an encompassing soul of humanity. Maybe energy bounces between all of us in a giant metaphysical ocean. Can we really have control over anything if something like that exists? Anxiety creates these things called cognitive distortions. Common cognitive distortions are maximizing and minimizing. When you maximize, you say things like, "That time I said GIF instead of GIF was pretty traumatizing. My friend probably hates me because I don't know how to say words." When you minimize, you say things like, "That time I said GIF instead of GIF was pretty annoying. My friend probably has brain damage." Let's assume that manifestations send out spiritual waves in a giant non-physical realm that affects the physical world. Let's also assume mental disorders can create distortions that indirectly lead to negative manifestations. Isn't this kind of paradoxical? By ruminating on your friend's potential animosity towards you, could you accidentally will your friend's animosity into existence? Through this perspective, it kind of feels like mental disorders are like curses that bleed into different aspects of your life. It reminds me of how genies grant cursed wishes that punish the wisher with unforeseen consequences. Genies were first mentioned in the Quran, the sacred scriptures of Islam, around 632 AD. Gilgamesh is a collection of epic poems originating in Mesopotamia around 2000 BC. It is commonly believed to be the first recorded account of mythological literature in the world. As science continues to advance and the code of the universe is revealed day by day, we rely on mythology to explain the world less and less. Despite this, the supernatural has persisted through the ages. Is it a product of culture, or is it remnant evidence of spiritual activity? The Bermuda Triangle was first discovered in 1492 when Christopher Columbus sailed to the New World. In 1939, the USS Milwaukee discovered the lowest spot in the Atlantic Ocean. In 1875, the HMS Challenger discovered the lowest point in the entire ocean. I wondered if there was something like a Mariana Triangle, so I dug into some Philippine mythology because I couldn't find any news articles on it. Apparently, people bang pots and pans together during eclipses to scare off Bakunawa, the giant water dragon that tries to eat the moon. There is also this giant called Angala that created the ocean's deep caverns with his footprints. Philippine mythology is pretty cool, but I couldn't find anything resembling what I was looking for. I turned to science and found something called magnetic declination. It turns out there's a lot less magnetic activity around the Mariana Trench than the Bermuda Triangle. There's also the Gulf Stream, which also passes through the Bermuda Triangle. Maybe most paranormal activity is just a collection of coincidences that we have yet to explain. The Mariana Trench is home to some of the most incredible and terrifying creatures on Earth. The Dumbo octopus is able to exist in extreme pressure because the pressure helps keep its gelatinous body together. The anglerfish uses oxygen to produce light with bioluminescent bacteria. The goblin shark has a really long nose for some reason. The story of Gilgamesh grapples with the meaning of life, something we still struggle with to this day. We can understand a lot with science, but there are probably things we will never understand no matter how much we try. The dark reality of mental illness could have a biological explanation, but our minds could also be plagued by magic from genies. After discovering a lamp, you rub its surface and a spirit emerges from the vessel. It tells you it will grant you one wish, but it informs you to be careful what you wish for. During your journey to find the lamp, you had the time of your life, and you dread the idea of returning to a life of mediocrity once the adventure is over. You tell the genie, "I wish to never be bored again." The spirit smiles and places an eternal curse on your soul. One day, when I was hanging out with a group of friends, we started talking about astrology. It feels like a lot of people make important decisions based on astrology. I never believed astrology could be more than fortune-telling, but the more we talked about it, the more I developed a new perspective. You could say our solar system was made through a series of astrological coincidences, yet astral phenomena affect us all in the strangest ways. Maybe the best way to deal with things out of your control is to find as many ways to manifest them as possible. Instead of fearing the non-physical, we could just have a little fun with it. I had a friend that got really sick once. None of the doctors could figure out any physical reasons why she was sick, and they kept prescribing medication that she didn't need, which gave her unwanted side effects. One day, a nurse told her sometimes bizarre illnesses can actually come from the mental side, so she visited a mental health expert and was better within a couple weeks. Events outside of our control are a lost cause, but we have the power to challenge our futures in as many ways as there are stars in the sky. There are a lot of reasons why everything happens. Nothing is as straightforward as we want it to be. I think that's okay though, because for every reason something happens, there's an equal amount of opportunities to deal with it. And I think that's pretty incredible. So make sure when you wish for something, you are as specific as possible, or else it will probably backfire on you. This is Negative 3D. Thank you for listening. In the description below, I linked every audio and visual clip I used in the video. I think I would like to make a video like this every Monday, so if you are interested in this kind of content, like and subscribe to the channel for more.